Hello. Having some hot apple cider. Just finished some of that pumpkin bread. Boy, is that ever good. Those are really good, really super moist. Anyway, I was so lucky I had an extra one, a loaf in my vehicle because my tires were low. So I got some man was nice enough to help me to put the air in my tires, right? I had a loaf to give him, so it felt good having something right there with me to hand out to somebody that took the time to help me. So I really enjoyed that. Anyway, with this election, I just want to point out a few things that I hope are helpful. When you're listening to I was in sales for a number of years. Okay, so sometimes, and especially if you've ever gone in to buy a car, you get these salespeople, right? They tell you anything they feel you want to hear. You have to be able to have discernment in a time like this when it's so critical. Things are so critical. I mean, our Constitution is at stake right now. And Trump is trying to preserve it, all right, flat out. This is a calling. This is actually more, he never wanted to be president. He's a builder. He's a businessman. He flat out said if nobody else would step up to the plate, if it was put upon him, it was a calling. He had to do it because nobody else could. You see, he's got the skills to fix things. And so does Elon Musk. These two, something about business people, I'm going to tell you, they have the ability to surround themselves. First of all, they've got immaculate, if you've ever studied any of these mentors, like even Sylvester Stallone, they're early risers, up at 4 a.m. They have, Elon Musk is up at 7, I heard in his interview the other day. But they get up early. They are positive affirmations, they're healthy lifestyles. They apply themselves to their goals. They're very focused on their goals. You have these roundtable meetings. They have checks and balances. They have tasks. They're extremely task-oriented. That's how businessmen are. They tackle a problem. It's all about, getting the best of the best brilliant minds in there at a round table to knock off these problems one by one. And deadlines are attached. And everybody checks back a few days later to see how far they've gotten. So there's constant progress being done. That's how businessmen do it. And they surround themselves with the best brains, the best minds, the geniuses, the brilliant people, okay? The ones that have the skills and the expertise and that are the best at what they do. That's how it is with the mindset of a businessman, okay? So that's how Trump is, and that's how Elon Musk is. And they are what we need for the problems that we have today. All right, and God has appointed them to do. It is the Lord, Almighty God. It is providence. God will place in the hearts and minds of men to fulfill His will for His purposes and at His divine timing. There happens to be a shift going on right now. There's a lot happening right now than just this election. This will have global effects, believe it or not, because of this shift, because of this major alignment. So here's the thing. Don't argue with people that don't see things your way. There are many people that are not woke. They're asleep. They do not have the discernment. They do not have the ability to see past the words that are being spoken. Many people they're just, the left has done a really tremendous job at dumbing down a lot of people. I'm sorry to say. I hope nobody takes that offensively, but I'm just saying. Overall, they have really done the most, with the talking points and controlling the media, because it's all controlled by the left, your CNNs and your even to a degree Fox News as well. I mean, excuse me, that Walter Lippmann had it right when, that communications guru, when you said the purpose of mass media is to manufacture consent among the masses. That's it. So they twist it, they package it, they shape it, they color it, they paint that picture any which way they like, and they pass it off as truth, uh, regardless of if it's not or if it is. That's how they do it, and they manipulate. It's the one of the Saul Alinsky plays out of the rule book, and Saul Alinsky, these people on the left. I'm just going to say it flat out, and it's not a secret. It's not anything that no one knows, or at least most people are aware of. Those that are woke, they understand this. Those people adhere to a Marxism ideology. Okay, that's the danger. Because if they had their way, their wish fulfillment would be the total eradication of the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Because under a Marxist ideology, the goal is to take away the rights of the people so that the state can control everything. The state is already inflated. Our government is too big. And there's too many rules and regulations, and there's too much corruption and theft. They have stolen from the American people, all right, and they're trying to run this economy off the cliff and destroy that dollar and usher in that beast system where they have full and utter control over everything. These people are drunk with power, and it's all about domination and control, and who has the most money and the purse strings, because they feel that they control the earth, because they have all the money, so that therefore the earth belongs to them. These people feel they have a terrible God complex, and they feel entitled to everything, and they also see themselves as above the law. All right, that's what we're up against. That's why this election is a big one, but it's also a major test, because Almighty God is watching things, and He already sees. He already knows. I told you, He's shaking things up even now. Everything that has been done in darkness is being exposed to the fullest extent of light, and we're in a new cycle now. That old cycle, that old way of doing things, that old season, it's over, it's done. This is a time where God makes all things new, and the last will be first and the first last. So there's going to be a big shaking up of things. People that were in position of power and authority at one point are no longer going to be, all the corruption. It's got to go. God's cleaning house, in other words, okay? But so this election is a big one. But people, like to poke the bear. They like to fight. They like to incite violence. I've seen enough YouTube, footages of little shorts where someone's coming at somebody, angry and just hostile and filled with a lot of vengeance, and to peaceful people that aren't doing anything. They're peacefully protesting, and they can't stand it. They are completely, they have no control over their emotions. So there's going to be a lot, however this election goes, there's going to be a lot spilling out into the streets after this is all said and done. So don't be surprised when they have to usher in curfews or things like that for a few days, because that is something that is on the horizon, believe it or not. And we're going to be made to see, especially since this is the day, it's Judgment Day, and God is cleaning house. There's a changing at the guard. It is time for God's people to step in and have the positions, those leadership roles, okay, to fill those capacities, those jobs, because it is a time for there to be an establishment of order and God's way of doing things, because these people have changed God's laws. They've been really indoctrinating all the children at a young age on sexuality and things like that. They've been really destroying a lot of young lives and a lot of people's lives. They have people so busy just trying to survive, trying to get enough, working 2, 3 jobs to pay rent and to put food on the table, which is so expensive now. The inflation is so high. I mean, they really did it on. This is all deliberate, orchestrated plan to keep people down and stuck and sick by all the hormones and stuff they put in foods, and all that stuff is orchestrated. They want people fat and obese, sick with diabetes, and on medications, and strung out on these prescription drugs that are addictive. And then we've got a lot of zombies walking around even now. And I was watching something the other day. They showed some area in San Francisco where there are actual zombies, people that are completely taken over by demonic entities, okay? And they are zombies, just like out of Night of the Living Dead. I'm not kidding, but there are places like that. And so I'm just letting you know, this election, you've got to read between the lines. You've got to see the forest for the trees. You've got to listen, but also know them by their fruits. Use your instinct, your gut instincts, that at some point that has to kick in. Use your intuition, and really learn more about these people, and not just go by hearsay. Don't go voting for one group because Taylor Swift is voting for that person, and so it must be okay. You can't afford to look at it that way. You can't afford to look at it that way, or just because someone is cool and you like them as a person, that way, that's reason enough to go that way. No, you got to look at it on a deeper level. But I'm just saying, it's not worth for anybody to engage in fist fights or violence of any kind. We're called to peace. And this news cycle is all about unity, not division, and peace, restoration. It's all about healing, a nation healing, people healing from what's been done to us. We've been so lied to. So many things have been done in darkness, behind the scenes, in the shadows, without our knowing, right under our noses and in our face, without us even realizing it, because they hide it. Secret societies are abhorrent to a free republic, and that's what this Constitution was based on. This was a free republic, and our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are given to us by Almighty God and not by man. So they cannot take away from us what God has given us. And freedom is never free. And young people today, I think it's cool to have all these freebies, free cell phone and free this, free that, whatever, free personal computers. They have to learn that nothing is free. Okay, don't be duped. I always say that, but but there are people that are asleep even at this very late hour. Which is a very dangerous place to be at this time, because the Lord is about to return, and He's purifying this planet because of all the imbalance, and he's people are going to fall off. I'm telling you, it's a fall of the unrighteous in the world, but we're not to fear. But it is what it is, okay? It's God's program. He's in charge. He's the creator. And it's time for Him to step in. And prophecy is being fulfilled right before our eyes. So, but yeah, just, you can tell people want to engage with, in arguing over and debating over things that are fruitless, because, they're blind and they don't see. They don't have spiritual ears to hear. They don't have spiritual eyes to see. They don't have discernment. They don't have understanding. They are just feeding off of what they have been spoon-fed through these talking points, through the mass media, which is all controlled, and there's so much subliminal stuff going on there, and MK Ultra to program the mind. I mean, the more you watch that stuff, that's why I say it's turn off the news. Don't even listen to that. Every one of us has the ability to really see things for what they are if we just tap in and really pay attention. So that's what you have to look at. But one thing I do love about President Trump is that he is a real person. He's not fake. He speaks off the cuff. Now, neither him nor Elon are polished politicians or eloquent speakers in that sense. Like a slick Willie politician speaks. They have it all perfected because it's all rehearsed. It's fake. It's fake. It is superficial, it's artificial, it is rehearsed, it's talking points, and they're not natural. They don't have answers, okay? It's all being spoon-fed and memorized and regurgitated over and over again throughout all the interviews they have. Trump speaks off the cuff openly and honestly. He takes it as it comes, and the same with Elon Musk. These are real people with real brains, all right? They have the real ability to do what they can to get the job done. And we need people that have skills. This is the skill set that is needed at this time to preserve our Constitution, because if the other side had their way, oh yeah, they'd totally do away with that electoral college. They would get rid of, they've been chipping away big chunks of the Constitution all along for decades. But now it's gotten to the point, if they have their way this time, they're going for it. They're going to finish what they started. And they would have done it already when Hillary ran for office. They were already clanking champagne glasses, but they didn't get their way then, because God had, in his mercy, stuck Trump in there and made sure, because these people had already finished, Obama finished half of their Agenda 21 program, and then Hillary was supposed to come in and finish it off. And they had all those military bases that they had emptied out, prepared them, that Dick Cheney, Halliburton company retrofitted all those military bases, got them all ready for FEMA camps, as internment camps. Okay, they already had the whole thing planned, and all those coffins that they ordered ahead of time. I mean, they had it all ready to go. If it wasn't for the fact that God raised up President Trump to step in there and prevent them from finishing it off. It was the mercy of God. It really was divine providence, divine intervention. And, but now, here we are at the same crossroads once again. And these people have amassed even more danger for us, because the nature of Lucifer, and those are Luciferians, if you don't know that by now, you're still asleep. That party is the party of Lucifer. They're Luciferians. They do not believe in a higher power. They are all very admiring of the Marxist ideology. That's what they adhere to. And if you look at the Communist Manifesto, which socialism is just a step away from communism, but if you look at that, there are already certain steps that have been implemented in our laws, in our law books, in our way of life here in America. They've already established and accomplished part of that, all right? Mass control of the media is one of them, okay? And mass control of the education system, that's another one. They're indoctrinating the children in kindergarten. You can decide whether you're a girl or a boy. They're doing this shit to our kids, okay? So, and think about this when you're voting. That's the side that loves to party on down. Those elite, parties with the tunnels and the islands and all that bullshit going on there. The adrenochrome. All right, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. That's that party, okay? Luciferians. They have a tremendous God complex, and they see themselves as above the law. And that's how Lucifer is, He always wanted people for himself, all right? So that's it. God's watching. Everybody's going to be held accountable this time around for how they vote, for sure. But I'm just saying, They will have it their way, but they don't go down without a fight, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get uncomfortable, and so everybody needs to be safe because you don't know when you're going to have to get locked in your home for several days if things get that bad. They probably will. So, and there's going to be a lot more shaking going on as far as earthquakes and things like that. So. Um, Put food back and water. Make sure you have a good, month supply in your place if you can, because we can't go anywhere because of curfews for a while until things get stabilized and die down. Um, because you got one side that is not able to control their anger, and they lash out and they're vengeful, they're hateful, they're spiteful, and they're violent. All right, and that's how they behave. I've noticed if you watch these rallies, it's always those on the left that are coming after people on the right, who are unprovoking. They're not doing anything. They're peaceful people, but they always tend to do that. Another thing I want to say is in that rally with Camilla's rally, someone held up a Jesus as Lord sign, and she told him that he was in the wrong place. You're at the wrong rally. She had it right, and it's a very telling thing. You shouldn't ignore things like that. But meanwhile, on the Trump side, they also had a rally, and somebody held up a Jesus is Lord sign, and that speaker said, "Yes, Christ is King," and everybody applauded. You got Trump, who surrounds himself with a prayer group, and they humbly come before the throne of God's throne to make supplication and petition for their safety, for the safety of their families and all of that. And he acknowledges God in all his ways. He acknowledges Christ. Christ consciousness is the highest vibration of the planet. It's unconditional love. That is the strongest force on the planet, and that is what our world needs. It needs love and unity, not division. The left are always pitting groups against one another to try to create chaos, drama, violence, intimidation tactics, fear. They're big on implementing fear. They want that fear. They want everyone in fear. They love it when the population is in fear and when you're afflicted with pain. This is the party that loves to do that to us, okay? And so you got to be aware of that. Trump, on the other hand, they're reciting the Lord's Prayer at a rally. You've got thousands of people at a rally reciting the Lord's Prayer, recognizing our need for divine intervention once again. Because when we fall away from God's precepts, and God's precepts were set in place so that mankind could live in harmony with peace and tranquility, love and respect for our neighbor, love and respect for ourselves, and where people, you don't have to worry about your kids being out there playing in the street. Like we used to play baseball when I was a kid out in the street, out in the cul-de-sac. You don't have to worry about that. People pulling over and throwing you in a car and running off with you. This abduction thing, this kidnapping thing has gotten way out of hand. But see, there's a lot of money in sex trafficking, and that's what these people on the left are all into. Adrenochrome and things like that, okay? Animal sacrifices, black masses, oh yes they are. And if you don't know that by now, you have to think twice about who you're voting for, okay? Because everybody's going to be held accountable for it. People are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It is a true statement. But I'm just saying, do your best. Discernment, you'll know them by their fruits. Instinct, intuition, and test the spirits to see whether they be of God. Or we already know Camilla's answer to that one. Okay, she denied Christ before, okay, so before her rally. So we already know which side is which. We already know the other side proclaims and confesses Christ, They're a party of peace and love and healing and unity. That is what it's all about, restoration of our country. for the good of mankind. So that's the stark difference you have. There's a distinction, and they're both completely polar opposites, okay? It is light versus darkness. It is good versus evil. Yes, it is. It's not about Republic versus Democrat. No, it's not. This is light versus darkness, and the darkness wants to swallow up all the light on the planet. And God says no, and He's stepping in, because if they had their way, oh yeah, it would be a new world order, ushering in that beast system, and everybody being forced to take the mark of the beast. You know, and that probably will be the way it winds up, because God chastises His people for falling away. So we all need to be praying. Stay in prayer. Okay, I'll stop here because it's 25 minutes in. I always go too far. I'm going to break this up in a few segments. Okay, God bless you, and peace out, everybody. Good night.